Welcome once, welcome twice, welcome three times to the Just Tai Now and the PSy Tai live podcast with your host Santi. We here hoping that this is streaming all fine and dandy, but everything looks cool to me as usual. This gonna be a conversation where we combine our minds with our hearts, connect those two circles, and let whatever come out just come on out, man. This is TAI, not THI, like the food. We're gonna get it hype, we're gonna get the energy here, and we're gonna do something about it. Why? Cause it's here, man. We're not just gonna let it run us over or be all conscious running around like robots and stuff like that. But that's kind of what I want to get in today. But before I get into anything, let me post a link to the Discord because the conversation can go any which way during this whole thing. So it has a title, but if y'all pop in and y'all have any questions or any stories, anything literally like you want to send an art piece, then hey man, check out the Discord or just jump in and on the chitty chat. Jump in on the chitty chat and we're gonna do what we do when we go and do diddy that. Just getting making sure I don't got no background programs running so we can be all fine. I got this working. I meant to play that. Shouts to YouTube copyright free music. And while that's going on, we do not promote the use of illegal or illegal drugs. What you decide to do with your body is what you decide to do with your body. Do not recreate anything that you see or hear on this channel for recreation, just for documentational, educational purposes only, harm reduction purposes as well. That's the only reason these videos being made, and to connect with other people that have strange experiences, but do not recreate anything. But if you already had these guys, like I was saying, um, I've been tying. I'm always tying, but let me turn this music off. I don't know how loud it is. One of the first things I wanted to bring up, I suppose, if I can remember, that is that I went kayaking yesterday. I went kayaking yesterday. It was the first time I did it. It was pretty awesome. It was awesome. I filmed it in 360 video, so y'all gonna be able to see all of that, and it's gonna be like you was there. It's gonna be like you was there. Should be out by tomorrow. I'll give it tomorrow that it should be out. It was either due to live or it was hey, we got to work on that video. But I'd rather go live and chitty chat with some people. Because being out there in the on the kayak, I said I definitely would like to do that on a little dose of mushrooms, or even like go on a boat. It just brought to my memories of people that like go deep sea fishing or just have on a boat because they got it like that and they just go out and it's just the way the waves is rocking you. And it was trippy too because I don't know if it's because I keep my mind lucid and on like mind lucid, so my logic was putting together that the way the water was moving on the ripples, it was mountains all in the background, like where I was in Orville, California, and it was mountains all in the background and trees in the foreground in front of that, and then it was a huge river, lake. No, river. I found out later it was river. I kept saying during the video that it was a lake, but it was a river. And but when I was would look back at the mountains after paying attention to the water for so long, kayaking. No, it was like this. Yeah, kayaking for a long time. The mountains was moving this way, and the trees were moving this way, while the water was like going, still flowing the way that it was going. And I wasn't on any hallucinogen. It was just that was the optical illusion, I guess, that was playing with the surface of the water, playing with my eyes. It was real common because I faced a lot of fears going out into the water, and it reminded me of the psychedelic experience of leaving the shores. And some people fiddle daddle by the shore, and some people deep dive and go fully into it, like comparing light doses to deep doses, or setting doses, like alone versus being with a group of friends versus being at a festival, or something like along those lines. That's what it was reminding me of because I was by myself. First, I did it with my daughter. It was cool because part of her homeschool program. They paid for it and stuff. So she was like, she got frozen in, not fright, but frozen in wonder, and she didn't want to like really do anything. She wanted to just sit there. So then I went back out there with a one person canoe and just kept on going. Like you could travel a good 30 minutes and still just keep going. That's how wild it was. That's how wild it was. So that experience is coming to y'all tomorrow. It's coming to y'all tomorrow. Let me post this link. What's going on, unknown? You need to activate your Gundam body with your melanin bridge, the ancestral dimension in your dream time. Hey, I know exactly what you mean. And save the kidnapped black women held hostage and break open the ethereal prisons in South America. Hey, that's what we all gotta do. That's what we all gotta do. But I know what you mean about that melanin bridge, cause I'm up a lot at one through 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yesterday I was up from like 2:30 to 5 o'clock actually. So my night owl hours been like been I've been experiencing those being up with the moon. And it's why it's different compared to being up during the daytime because like all the you don't have all that stuff thoughts blocking you. You're just able to connect to like those go into the dream state a lot more easier or daydream or have your mind not be attached to the daily practices and procedures that you go up to. That was where there's a silent massive race war going on. Yeah, I see what you mean by a race war. That's why they burning up and I think even more on race is the knowledge period that a certain race I think can be in tune with. Like the indigenous tribes and I was about to say in Arizona, indigenous tribes in the Amazon. Imagine how many herbs was lost that was connecting them to themselves, connected them to the spheric nature, as you put it, of the world, and now they can't really do it no more, or because their tools to go to those astral worlds was burnt up, as well as their house. So now they're going under all these traumas and stuff like that. And I see that's what happened with the black women and everything too. With being traumatized, being shown like you said, unknown, being shown a lot of trauma and not and being like prisoners in the astral world, prisoners of their own mind. And it's so messed up because it's like they on this human like how we see things on this human dimension and stuff, it like come off as race. Yeah, it come off as like race wars and like demeaning people with dark skin. And why do they do that? Like it's there's never like a real reason why, because you can have a million reasons to counterpose that. And it's like, do those thoughts just not go through their head at all? Or is it a whole nother agenda so they don't allow those thoughts that we come up with to mess up whatever plan they trying to do? It's real insane, unknown. It really, really is insane and insane. Cause like they are going into people's saneness and changing stuff around, or going into people's saneness and making them view things differently. Like the best way to have a slave is to not is the for them to I don't know the actual quote, I'm paraphrasing, but the best kind of slave is a slave that doesn't know that it's a slave. Something like that. That's the best kind of slave. Cause like I don't even gotta do nothing. I just set these little pieces in motion and I just let it play out. And just let that social engineering going on. That's why I love those mushrooms and psychedelics and how they connect you to what did you put? Equip your dream body. Yeah, like you said, equip you helps equip your dream body, your light body. Help and tune yourself with the the you that's not just that's in the game, but the you that has the controller. And that's what I've been really enjoying. because I always thought it was other ways. I always thought it was like another dominant way to do it. But it seemed like when you do it without really having these experiences, it's like it's still that magic missing to it. But still the work gets done. I don't know what I'm trying to put at. I'm trying to see like people that really do help, but they don't have this kind of experience. It like it takes a toll on them still in a way where then it's like they're doing this mostly because they're doing it against something else. When you start dealing with these substances, it's like you see the wholeness of everything. So you're not really choosing a side, so to speak, but you still you moving. You're not choosing a side, so to speak, but you're moving with a side, but not a side at the same time because the awareness is like all over the place, all over the place. And I think that's what helps for like pure anger not to exist in decision making. You know what I mean? Like when you make a decision and you're a little upset, it's still what you wanted to do, but you do it in a way that you probably wouldn't have that you looked in back and say, man, I could have done that another way. And you can still be like, man, I'm glad I did it though. I'm glad I did it though. But it's like, imagine if everybody was just on DMT or mushrooms, or a majority of people, a vast majority of people's on mushrooms at the same time, and then started making decisions that was going to affect a lot of people while having people not on mushrooms there at the same time. Just keep a whole mix in there, but a majority of them being in a heightened state where they can kind of see, in my opinion, how this is a simulation or a game that's being played by their something that's somewhere else. The you that's behind the thoughts, that's observing the thoughts, and then off of that start making decisions, because then you can start changing old behavior so they don't just seek back in and be like, well, we've been doing this, it's been working, so let's keep it up, let's just modify what we've been doing. And keep modifying it and modifying it. That remind me of what I was learning about the drugs that have been made since the 50s and 60s. Like there was this neuroscientist saying that no new drugs been created since the 50s and 60s. They just been changing the chemical structure around. And I'm not a chemist and pharmacologist, but he was just saying that they changed the chemistry of it around, and that's all they've been doing with the medicine since the 50s. There's been no new medicines that's been created to help people, just modifications. So I'm like, we need some new stuff to come out. We need some new things, even if it's like 4-ACMO, and that's 4-ACMO DMT, which is synthesized um, mushrooms. It's like the synthetic mushrooms, like made in the lab. It's mushrooms. The when psilocybin turns to psilocybin in your gut, that's what 4-ACMO is. 4-hydroxy DMT. And so if we can like go and get into these old plants at least, we can start making up new medicines, new medicines. But if they want to keep on burning up stuff in the Amazon, we gotta start acting sooner than later. Sooner than later. I think it's gonna be a lot of medicines we can still get from the indigenous people that live in America, that lived in America before it was colonized, like peyote. That's a big thing. But I think it's a lot of other ones that we probably missing, that we probably are missing, that they probably don't even want to tell us. And I get that hint from the Aboriginals that live in Australia. Shout outs to your mate Tom. I watch his channel on YouTube. He talks about psychedelics, but he lives in Australia, and he was talking about the real originals, the real Aboriginal originals. They have plants and psychoactive plants where they're not going to tell people about them. He said they have some ones they tell people about and some ones they don't, because they don't want them to get like messed up, like, oh man, like overpicked, or the stigmatism get out about them, or like, you know how it is. You know how it is. Like, well, a lot of research chemicals, a lot of people try to keep on the hush hush, because when the news media finds out or something like that, they say, oh God, somebody overdosed, or somebody jumped out a window thinking that they could fly, and Or it's always that one guy that that the media uses to mess it up for everybody. Like you gotta throw it in that little in the middle. Cause usually they say, man, it's always that one guy that messes it up for everybody. He ain't mess it up for everybody. He just showed everybody what not to do. It's the media that propagated that, or somebody that still wanted to control the minds and behaviors, or just felt hyped about it, or was getting a benefit from influencing behaviors of others, that was like, oh wow, you see that action, that behavior, we can't do that no more. Like people want to come off with a certain essence about them, like a pride sense, a certain pride sense, and that's wild. That's wild. It's not weird anymore to me, but it's still something wild that I see happens everywhere, everywhere. But another thought, I zoomed down because I thought I put the title of something else. I've been watching this cool show I called Island, and they was cliche enough to put it as, it's called I dash land. And I'm on episode 3, and it's gonna be spoilers if you want to watch it in your own time. But it's about these people that wake up on an island and they have no memory of where they are and things like that. And I was like, man, this is kind of like another kind of Lost. I don't know if I want to watch this, but I was up 1 in the morning, and sometimes 1 in the morning, I don't like to really like my decision making to get in the way of what I want to do. So it just popped up on Netflix, and yeah, I call it Netflix because I give it my own spin. But it popped up and I was watching it, and then it started turning into some real interesting, because I was just playing in terms of, like, I was looking at it as, oh wow, yeah, we come into this earth with amnesia of not remembering what was really happening before, in like the multiverse, or anything before or after. Or it was just like here and now, we wake up out of the womb and we like, where am I? I don't know what's going on. Oh, this is your name, this is your name, this is your mama, your papa, you are a Catholic. But that's how I was looking at this movie, and then the show, waking up on the island, and they was playing a mystery and stuff. They was like, oh, I don't know, and they had the people with the personalities. But overall, it was special because you find out that they are actually prisoners, and that the whole island experience is a simulation. It's a new simulation program, high tech simulation program made by this prison, and this is their sentence, is that they have to wake up on this island and see what happens, and see what happens. And that's what the social engineer, the people, like they had a psychologist, you know how it is, psychiatrists, all that kind of field that was monitoring and created this simulation for the prison. And now these were the test people. These were like the first people going in there. So it was cool because one of the ladies, the main character, was reminding myself of a lot of us that was seeing things as a mystery. She was like, this sign was not here for no reason. They would not just put this sign here, or said when we all woke up, we was all equal distant apart. She was just seeing clues while other people were just saying you crazy. Like it reminded me of somebody on a waking up journey, and it was wild because they was accusing her of things and everything. And she was like, y'all don't really see what's going on. She had an attitude about her that they wasn't appreciating, and she wasn't really fitting in with the group. But to skip past everything to get to the main juicy part, and this was only episode 3, they thought she killed somebody, so they was knocking her out and stuff. And somebody whacked her in the head. So she wakes up and she's in this chair, and it's this nurse with a needle, and she gives the classic story of waking up and like, yo, where am I was just on an island, what is going on? And the way that they was treating her, it was just like, well, that's just fit into that we track thing, but I don't think we tracked. But yeah, that was the story, that was going on. And the thing about it, after she learned some things about the simulation by being out of the simulation because they told her about it. They wanted to ask her questions about the experience. How did she feel? And she was like, I didn't know if we were just supposed to survive or if we were supposed to look for something. And the social engineers was like, yeah, I knew it. I thought that too. And they was taking notes down. And the other one's like, that don't matter. That don't matter. And they was asking questions along those lines. And she was giving her answers. And she was just freaking out because she was like, I can't wrap my mind around that wasn't real, that wasn't real, and that where I am is what y'all saying to me is the actuality. And in actuality, I'm in a prison. And it was mind boggling to her. And I see people go through this, and I've gone through myself having gone through high dose psilocybin experiences and people smoking DMT of going somewhere else and experiencing something more real than this or just as real. I think people say more real because sometimes they not it's attached to their feelings and they don't attach their feelings to this realm that much. I don't know because this realm, that realm, it's all real to me because it's all fake at the same time. Like it's all fake to me. Every single realm that I go to, I feel is just as fake as this one, but it's just as real as this one. And I just put my logic to it saying that because I'm experiencing it. And I used to run across these things when I was younger. It's like they was prepping my mind for these things. And you too, if we was, I'm 28, I'm 27 right now. So I remember when I was younger, they used to show science documentaries on the Discovery Channel about the senses and about confusing the senses and experiments they was doing of if you like closed eyes and you feel wind and popcorn or something and you hear movie playing, you're gonna think you're in a movie theater, or you know how it is, or if they can simulate a pacing heartbeat and make your muscles contract and stuff like that, your mind would think that you're running, or things that you think in your mind, if your body is correlating physically to what you're thinking, then your mind doesn't know the difference. Your mind can't tell the difference between experiences. That's why people getting so. That's why gyms exist. That's the only reason why gyms can exist. Treadmills and the tie back. I was doing the kayaking. You know when they do the rowboats, and I was getting a lot of upper body exercise. And when I'm at the gym, they got that there where you can like roll like this and keep pulling the strings back, and people stay there for like an hour and a half. And I was getting that same experience and more being out in the water. But it was simulated in there, and people had their music going, create their own reality going on. When that's still the same thing as being out in the water. But it gets so deeper. I'm gonna go deeper down the rabbit hole as you could be like the virtual reality that's coming out with the sensors on the hands and the heptic feedback suits where people getting shot now in the virtual reality realms and you feel little shock sensors like shock you on your chest or on your arm. Like that's cool. Like that's that all. What I say cool is it just like the never ending story. It's just more clues on how the mind works or how we are working overall, and at least how we can conceptualize it as humans. Because, you know, words don't mean shit in the end of the day. But the picture that I'm painting, hopefully, hopefully is getting painted. But to go back to the story of the thing of the show, The Island, this they tell her things about what's going on, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to go back in there." And she started fighting like, "I'm not going back in there." And she was a good fighter too. Shout outs to her. They ain't make no punk girl in this show. They made a strong female lead. Strong female lead. She was kicking ass, and she was getting out. She almost broke out twice. So they finally sedated her and after and got her back in there. So now that she's back in the simulation, she's tied up and stuff because the people there don't trust her because she was already doing untrustworthy things because during her so-called awakening experience to what was going on before they knocked her out, she was doing some fishy things to them. So now she came back and they think she killed the other guy, so she's tied up and she's like, yo, This is not real. This is not real. What's going on, Ollie Cat? She's like, this is not real. She's like, this is all fake. She said, we're prisoners. We did some horrible things, and they put us here in this simulation to see how we was going, if see if we can rehabilitate ourselves under these circumstances. And they're like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Why should we trust you? We already wasn't trusting you. And they're like giving her the whole 9 rounds. They like bang, 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 just shooting her all up. They ain't even untie her. They didn't even untie her. They just was like, man, it's all love. What's going on, Ollie? They didn't even untie her. And it just reminded me of somebody coming back from a high dose psilocybin or DMT experience and talking to the architects of this reality, or talking, or in some essence, you know what I mean, and then coming back and talking to the people and being called crazy. And that's what was going on. I was like, all right, this show is cool. This show is cool because they was really, she really was out, and she was really truthful about what she was saying. And she was really not truthful about a lot of things because she was suspicious about things in the beginning. So I see how it plays out that character that I see in myself, and that we see in other people as well, when they say, man, what you mean you changed? Or what you mean you saw this and now you sorry for all of those things? You just was a little fishy and suspicious about things. We know who you are. You already showed your true colors. Like, we can't trust you. Yeah, to survive against the odds as a matrix experiment. And the people that put together the experiment knew that when she went back into the experience that the people was going to be looking at her like this. I think this where people get all paranoid when they say that we trapped in this world and there's people manipulating us and things like that. But I'm glad I had the kind of type of experience where I saw at a higher manifestation that it was all me. But from this manifestation, it's going to appear as though somebody is freaking puppet mastering me. But yeah, she was trying to tell them, and they was not believing her because it didn't make sense to them. It did not make sense until this one lady, because she was speaking up so prominently against these things, and they told her when she went back in the simulation that things was going to be turned up a notch, like scenarios was going to come that was going to make them want to kill each other, because they erased their memories, but they was able to control when their memories started coming back. So they was like, all right, now that we don't know how, they know how she escaped either. They like, you're the first person to ever like escape from the simulation. They're like, well, how did I do it? And they said, well, we don't know. You did it. That's all they said. They said, you did it. So I was like, man, that's good encouragement that it really is only us that can get out of this if we choose to. It's all up to us to take that dose or not take that dose. And it's people that go their whole life and never take that dose. Oh, and that's wild, because then you just start playing into that social matrix. And as Unknown was saying earlier, you don't have control of your dream body. You don't have no awareness of your dream body, let alone control of it. So then you stuck from the I'm just using all y'all vocabulary. You stuck, and you don't have that. Yeah, you're stuck in an ethereal prison, so to speak. An ethereal prison, just like in the movie. In the movie, they stuck in the prison when they get out the simulation. And in my Thai sense, I just see that other prison as just another manifestation of a mind, just another reality and it's probably another reality higher than that one that they hopefully the writers go to in the end of the season, or I go to when I make my own show finally. We got to make our own show. It's going to come out. And if it doesn't, I put enough keys out there so somebody can put together some story. But yeah, the story was wild because it get more interesting because they sent 2 people from the prison into the matrix of the island. It's cells and cells, layers and layers. It really is. Every time I hear cells and cells, layer and layers, I just really, that's why I've been marathoning The Simpsons lately. I love The Simpsons when they showed the Earth with Homer sitting on a couch, and then it kept zooming out to see the city and the planet and then the solar system and the galaxy and all of that stuff, blah blah blah. I kept zooming out, and then it showed that it was just zoomed out to be just more cells on Homer's head when they zoomed all the way out from like 50 realities. And me like, man, it's a joke. It's all cool. But when he came in, I mean, they sent in two people to muck up things, and that's what I was tying in on. But before I did the show, I was going to title this: "Our people really can be NPCs on some level. Really can just be there, reading the script or created through the script, and that's about it." Because in the show, and to use the show as a story plot, in the show they sent a guy and a girl over there when while they was about to kill the girl. They was about to kill the girl again because they didn't trust her. They kept talking about the simulation and stuff like that, and they said, "Oh, we can't trust her. She's still hiding things." So then the social engineers that made the experiment didn't want her to die yet. So they sent two people into the game and came up with this whole story about how they came from the other side of the island. It was other people there and everything. Yeah, they don't seem to bind you, just hold you till ready. It really is that. It holds you till you're ready, and that's why this whole stories plays out. I think they want, or us, or they want us to go through these stories for the experience. Like if we just read the title sequence or the description, we get a little glimpse of it. We don't really get everything that we really that the story was trying to tell. We just read like a couple spark notes. We just got the spark notes. You ain't really ready if you just read the sparky notes. And I know that because I used to read sparky notes in high school sometimes to get through that book. I ain't read that chapter. Where the one page spark notes so I can do this quiz. Well, they literally sent these people, and they came from the other side of the island. Said they came from the other side of the island, but when they kept this mind about them, and that's what I liked about it, is the only way the BS was shown in the reality, and I see that in here, this reality too, is when you got a certain mindset about you, a questionable mindset, but not a frantic panic mindset. Cause it's a difference. It's like panic could make you seem like you there, but that the cause and effect of that panic makes you all over the place. So you still left with more kind of questions and answers, and even probably not compared to having this attitude of I'm going to figure out what's going on around me, like a face. That hmm. I don't know what it is in words, but I just hear this. They was able to point out the different things that they missed. Like, oh, why didn't you talk about that dead body that you just walked by, and you're just trying to focus on this subject? So then they straight up told him after they broke the surface and was ready to kill him and things like that. They told him why they was there. So they all got the little experience after not trying to believe the girl when she tried to tell him. She tried to warn him. So I don't know what's up coming up after that. Well, after that episode, but just those little tidbits just had my mind having some fun, having my mind had some fun going to those realities of the island. Cause when I watch movies, it's like I'm in the movie or show. I'm in the show. I'm all the characters and stuff like that. And it was cool. Another thing they was talking about in the show that I guess is a cool subject matter is the nature versus nurture aspect. And they wiped their memories because they wanted to see if their behaviors would still pop up without them having memories of what they did. And it was one guy that was trying to rape one of the girls in the first episode. Like, oh, took her, found this cool waterfall spot. Like, yeah, this can be our spot. And then she was like, "You tried to rape me," and she was going all over this. She fought him off and stuff. And in his mind, he was just saying, "It wasn't rape. It was sex. Sex is sex. It's either sex or no sex." And she's like, "Since we had sex, nothing really happened." And that was his demeanor mindset. And I was ready to turn it off at first. I was like, yo, this asshole, like, man, I can't watch another show like this. I don't feel like going through this mindset. But after I saw what the show was really trying to show and I got over all my emotional BS, I was like, oh, they was trying to see how it comes out in his reality. Like it still manifested himself. His behavior still manifested himself in some way. But that's just how the show put it out. Because I have my if and ands about that. But still, we see on Earth people really have reasonings in their heads that don't go match what another person is saying. But overall, we could say like, yo, that is what was happening. That is what was happening. He tried to rape her. He tried to go have sex with her without consent because she was fighting and everything. And she was like, I was just playing. I was just playing. So imagine if he knew and then later on he died. Because they said the island always repays your actions or something like that. Like they put a code into the island so that you die if you like cause harm or kill another person. So it's still consequences built into the programming of the island. That's not based. That's the social engineers can't change. It's just they just letting it play out. They letting it play out, and that just has me think about this karma thing, the wheel of karma, and how they try to say and how you hear in the Hinduism philosophy that humans and the human soul is is stuck stuck on this wheel of karma, and it keeps just on recycling and recycling and recycling and keep coming back and coming back. And that they try to say things happen because of your karma if you do bad things or do good things and build up points and all of those things. It's all philosophy. It's all a game if you want to play that karmic codes. Yeah, it's got karmic codes, and it's like that's something I'm seeing. I'll just see now is like being something that's just built into this simulation. So it is real, but it's not real at the same time. Like when people get that sense, man, karma ain't real. Fuck karma. Da 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 da. But it is real as long as we're having this experience on Earth. Like it's real here. That's what it is. It's called Ali said it's called the Kalakara. The Kalakara. Wheel of Cycles. Wheel of Cycles. Like algorithms and math. And that's what be tying to. Well, I guess that's my little self talking right now, but that's what be having things make too much sense to me. Like too many dots be connecting at once. I'd be like, whoa, there go the picture. I'm blind. I'm blind. Because everything that everybody say makes sense. Like the scientists, the psychonauts, the people that's dipping their feet in the psychedelic, I was gonna say the psychedelics, the religious folks, because they, because the math, because like the scientist is a scientist, and like when we describe a scientist, what is a person? What is that? A person that asks why, a person that questions everything, a person that is trying to find, the person that is trying to find the hidden layers of reality. What is a reality? Instead of getting rid of that word of what is the reality? What is reality? What is a reality? Something that seems real, something that the senses are interacting with. So now a scientist is a human in a reality looking out with those senses that they was given. Not those so far right now in like this 2019 world, they're not using their extra dimensional senses like the alchemists would do, but they're just using the five senses to look out at this at this reality. And they're coming to conclusions that it's all based off of a math and algorithms and certain laws. And they only believe it because when they do certain experiments with the senses, the laws correlate to the math, that sometimes they just get epiphanies about, like the high math, and then it trickles down to here. They just getting epiphanies about this shit. The theoretical physicists, the theoretical astrophysicists, compared to the astrophysicists, they're doing a lot of math and they're looking at the coding and things like that. And I see that because that's where I was heading to. With my questioning before psychedelics, when I was in academia and things like that, I was not academia. What am I talking about? When I was in high school, I was I wanted to be an astrophysicist, but I wanted to be a theoretical astrophysicist. I didn't want to do I didn't, as opposed to being an experimental astrophysicist. That's what it was: experimental and theoretical. I'd like to do the experiments, but I wanted my mind to go. I wanted my mind to go. So if more people I could see took that way farther than I did, to even create the things that I was just attaching myself to, then hey, like yeah, it's insight leading to science. Pure insight, man. And that's why they come off as nerds. And get attached to things like Star Trek. I was talking to a guy yesterday, when I was caught. It was a dad. I'd say he was a dad about Star Trek. And he was talking. He knew a lot about Star Trek. He was an old guy, gray beard. He probably been watching it since the 50s. He was a true Trekkie, and he was telling me things about I was just watching his mind as I watch. That's just how I do. I was watching his mind as he was speaking, as well as participating. I wasn't just like but he had he was latched onto a lot of like out of bounds ideas and things like that. And who knows? He probably did take a psychedelic before. That's why he homeschooling his kid. I don't know. He was just a cool guy I wanted to mention, I suppose. So to get back to what I was going to, um, when I was getting to, I like the Trek too. Yeah, they just put a lot. They put so much in there. Was yeah, what I was getting to about the schooling and things, my mind was just going, and I was hearing these people having these experiences about math being a hidden later reality, and also with psychedelics. Psychedelics, I was hearing people saying that they saw calculus everywhere, or saw numbers and angles measuring, like like they got the in the math book when they try to describe the angle and stuff, like they saw that everywhere that they was looking at. So before the math, I guess it is there in the imagination. And if this imagination is creating what we see here now, that's our reality. That's is on that math stuff. And where I leave off on that show. Yeah, that show the island. Check it out. That show the island. That's what was going on, and they was getting to the nitty gritty of all this stuff that we talking about now. Mm. I just had a thought about what True was saying about people watching the show and them saying Ketimus Prom. Oh, I finally got it right. I was trying to say it in my head right. Ketimus Prom, Optimus Prom. Uh, oh yeah, that was the thought that I had about people, TV shows taking thoughts and things, but it's not a bad thing or a good thing, but it's just a thing. But the guy was telling me how it was Star Trek Generations on CBS. And they canceled a lot of shows on CBS because the CEO was saying, or the executive there was saying that she didn't understand the shows, so that's why she canceled it. But I was saying that Star Trek Generations was taken from a video game, like the script and things. I ain't like that. I said, oh wow. So we're gonna be creating a lot of things in the ethers because if you don't do a thought, somebody else gonna take it. And then I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not gonna go too deep into my own rabbit holes. So yeah, math has a lattice structure that is foundational, and I believe that's why all these numbers like the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio and all those things pop up and it's different how it pops up when you're in school because these when you look at these math formulas they're in the textbooks but there's nothing special about them in the book like that's why I think a lot of people run away from learning about math. Yeah, your thoughts are not full yours. That's why I've been learning about that. I'm not learning about that, but I've been passing the test. That test a lot more fluently, more of not getting so caught up and thinking I gotta keep going down my own thoughts. Like this is what I'm thinking. I gotta keep thinking. Like it's not what always just what I'm thinking. It's like somebody saying, "Here, throwing thoughts in there. Phew, let's see him go. Let's see how he reacts to this. Let's see how he reacts to this." And I'm like, "Yo, chill, chill, chill." Others can pull the same imaginary data out of the beyond. I lost the thought I had, but yeah, people can pull the same imaginary data out of the beyond, and that's what just made me go to another big point that I didn't want to go through the show without saying is this is about my third time experiencing because I don't haven't been around a lot of people while they were tripping, so I mostly just trip by myself. But three times I've been with somebody. I mean, two times I've been with somebody while they was tripping, and I wasn't seeing what they were seeing, but I was vividly feeling what they was feeling. And when I was had my eyes closed, I was able to see what they was feeling. I was able to see what they was seeing in my imagination because I was always on a lighter dose than they was on, and they was on a dose where they did hallucinate. But I bring this up because I walked somebody's dog, and I walked in and I returned her dog yesterday. It's an old elderly lady, and she said, "Do you see a kitten over there in the corner?" And I was like, "Yo, she got kittens in her house." And I was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "All right, probably a kitten ran in her house." And I was looking, and she's like, "It's right there, it's right there." And I'm already like, I already had the huge sense that I was like, "Wait, I don't see it, I don't see it." But I want to really see if it is what she see. But it was like I could tell she was in this dream, this different state of mind. Oh yeah, that was very important. Pe- But yeah, people running away from math. And I remember what I was talking about with that. So I'm going to go into people running away from math real fast. Thanks, you will. And it is like a big beyond is like a Mary Poppins bag of goodies. I was just watching Mary Poppins Returns 2 or 3 days ago. They did a lot of cool things with it still. There's a lot of cool magic stuff. But people running away from math real fast. That was I think that's why school is so hard because people don't see the use of it. The use of it. Like me, I always had an extra sense about it. I was like, man, I always had questions about reality and things. But other people, if you don't have questions about reality and you learn about Fibonacci sequence, or if you're not trying to be an engineer at least, that's where math come in handy too in this dimension. Being an engineer, then you start like, man, why I gotta learn all of this? It's not gonna help me feed my mom or get food or get a job like a right now job that I see my community getting or people around me getting or anything of that form or fashion. So it just goes off on the wayside. And I think when the math phone got nothing to play with, it just goes. It just if you lose it, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's what I was getting at. If it don't have nothing to play with, it's not going to play. It's going to get bored. But to get on oh, the lady that I walked the dogs, she was saying that she saw Marys be popping you in the. She do, Mary. That's why I was talking about that attitude too, about figuring out reality that you gotta have that the lady had on the island. Like it's like a disciplined. It's like a disciplined, and it comes off as this dimension as having a certain I don't know, prominence about you or pickiness. You come off as picky or OCD in this room. Or too much. But we all picky. We all picky. Numbers govern everything. The rhythm of life is controlled by cycles run by numbers. Or else it wouldn't make sense. Because numbers don't make sense. Numbers don't make sense when you tie on it. Numbers don't make sense. They don't make sense so much that numbers mean something even more than just the addition and traction. They hold energies and everything. So that when you combine them, they create different energies and life forms. But before I get the story about the lady that I walk her dog, she walks cats. She walks cats. I walk her dog and she was pointing to kittens in her house that wasn't there. And she had me going over, not had me, but I was playing along with her because I realized the state of mind that she was in. And I didn't want to make her feel bad. So I was like saying, man, if I see them, I'm going to get them. I got them. I got them, Miss Kath. I got them, Miss Kath. Like, and then she pointed to a bird in the box. And she's like, you don't see that? You don't see that bird? And then I was like, wait, let me see it. And I was like, oh, I don't see it. And then when I came back from walking her dog, she was saying it was right there, and she was just having me point it out. She said, "You ain't see it just running by." Like she literally thought I had something in my hand. She said, "What did you just pick up just now?" It could have been her medication too, really getting her on. But she was really in. I just walked into this. I just walked into this. So she was showing. I was like, "Oh, I didn't have a bird in my hand." But I said, "If I see the bird, or if I see the cat, I'm gonna make sure that I get it out your house." And after playing around for a while, she's like, "Well, we're just gonna make sure that we're just gonna leave him alone for right now, and we're gonna make sure we get him tomorrow." She's like, "Man, this is the time to have some damn kittens running around my house. It had to be now." Yeah, but I never experienced like something like that. So I never experienced an grandmom like that. So then, it was just reminding me of the psychedelic states. I was like, oh, I've been where you are before. But if I never encountered that before, I probably would have been really scared. I would have been, if I never encountered being out of body or having those experiences, and I was just running my amygdala behavior programs or whatever programs that's in my genetics and things like that, I would have said, whoa, what's going on? I got to call a doctor, or like I need to call somebody to help you out because you tripping out right now. What's going on with you? And that's what's happening around. That's why psychiatric wards, that's why all these SSRIs and medicines exist. That's made through people believing that they're doing good. And as long as you believe you're doing good, or you're going to conjure up something in your realm, you're going to be able to conjure up something. Now, I thought it was a shadow too, but she said it was a kitten. And she said you saw the tail, and then she saw it crawling up the box that was facing us, the side of the box that was facing us. She saw it crawling up. And when I got back the next day, this morning actually, she said she asked me, cause I guess she was on the phone with somebody talking about her experience, and she said, "Did you have a kitten in your hand yesterday?" And I was like, "Oh no, no, I told you that I was letting you know that I didn't, but if I did, I was going to help you out and stuff." And she said, "Yeah, I was thinking." I know where you going down when you said shadow being because it pointed out to me when she was real upset that it was cats in her house. She's like, man, time for me to have kittens running around my house. That's what I pointed out to my girlfriend because I didn't want to point out anything else about her because I didn't want to really make fun of her. But I did point out that she said that, and I had a sense that like, oh, I said, oh, she was upset about that. She must not. She was upset about them kids. Must be something on her mind. So I see, yeah, that is a higher sense to look at that made that programming even possible. I gotta always remember. That's why I do this more often. That I can let my tired thoughts out. I don't have to cover up. I don't gotta put on my Clark Clint glasses all the time. We can really tie on the energies that's going on. But so dementia is undercover old people DMT syndrome. Even the letters are in the words. Oh, we gotta put that on the shirt. No, I got a whole movie that just played through my head. A whole script that just played through my head. Cause you know how in movies and stuff they don't ever want to say, "Oh, I took DMT." But yeah, wow, wow. I see that movie. Alter mind continue into layer unseen. It is. And yo, kick this guys. What she said when I got back this morning was that once I told her I didn't see it, she said, "Oh man, I must have been dreaming." This is her word. She said, "I must have been dreaming. I must be getting my dreams confused with what's really going on." Like she didn't admit that that was happening while she was awake. She said it was a dream. I said, "Oh, it must have been." From old age to entheogens. Yeah, I wonder if that's because I don't know. I'm going into some conspiracy fields. But if the programming that was placed on us so that we have certain chemicals going on in our bodies so that we don't experience certain things after puberty, like what if something was put into our genetic programming so that at puberty it was like a choice or it was like something that had to be overcome or else a programming was going to rise up that made chemicals come up in your body that made you not so connected to the ethers, so to speak. So then as you get older, those chemicals start going away. But since we wasn't ever used to people wasn't ever used to dealing with that state of mind, they're not prepared for it. And then since it was so away for so long, it comes on abruptly. So then you just get overtaken. Oh, she's on some stuff. She's on meds. I got to figure out the name of them. How she takes pain medications for her legs. Oh, MAO is that chemical? Yeah, cuz think about it. We either overriding that sensor or we breaking it down and then introducing something to it so that we inhibiting that sensor and then introducing to something else to our system so we can have that experience. As you age, you can't make MAO in masses like before. Yes, the bad chemical reactions via negative emotional reinforcements are being fed and triggered. Yeah, bros, and that's why, man, that's why I think old people be connecting with kids so much more. Like on a thought level, emotional level, all of those things, man. All of those things, even through because I think it's their own experience. I don't think it's overall the thought process. It is matched with the thought process of, oh yeah, I've been through everything you've been through. I've seen people grow up and die, and I've seen babies come into the world, so I know how children feel. So I know how to act around them. But I think that they're literally in that same neurochemistry around them. But as Ilicat was saying, when it got a lot of negative and emotional. Hold on once. You keep, you'll figure out. Don't put that in your mouth, please. Is the mic back on? Make sure everything on. All right, yeah, reshaping neural pathways altogether. Once a man, twice a child. That's a cool saying. Once a man, twice a child. And old people scared, man. All the lady does when I see her in the morning time is deal or no deal. With your favorite guy, I'll just say Cat Williams. What's your favorite guy? Which favorite guy? Wayne Brady. And then Price is Right. Then the news. And then Wheel of Fortune in the nighttime. It's like, and then more news, soap operas. Like daily TV is made for older people because I've been cleaning elderly people houses, and the TV is just on, and it's like it's just daytime programming, literally in the word, daytime programming, and the programming is like fear tactics, like the news and stuff. Like she be warning me of stuff going on. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. She's like, yeah, you should know. I'm like, thanks for telling me. I know now because you told me. But science. I gotta remember if I don't say nothing, there's nothing going on. Or there's something going on, we just can't see it. I can play this in the background. Oh. Yeah, it keeps them in set mind. Set mind state. And it's going to be, I'm going to have a cool experience. My grandmom is coming to California. She's already has the ticket and everything. She's gonna be here from the 24th to the 5th. So it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Cause I'll make sure we have some fun. And she never been over here before. I only seen her once in about 2 years since I been here because I went to travel to Philadelphia. But I do talk to her a lot on the phone. I talk to her. This is the grandmom that raised me, and that's who I mentioned in a lot of my stories. But she has always been there for me, and the love is always still tight. The love is always still tight. So she's gonna be here, and she told me not to worry that she just coming here and she just wants to relax and get away from things that was going on in Philadelphia. So, and she wants to play with Isla and stuff. I mean, the baby girl. She wants to play with the baby girl and things like that. So it's going to be cool. I'm going to show her the sights. She says she wants to do a lot of walking. She said, all right, I'm going to make sure you do some walking. We're going to do some walking and we're going to ride the bus. So it's a small town. Ride the bus so we can do some even more walking because the park just goes on forever. Like research Bidwell Park. That's the park that's around my way. It just goes on. It starts changing names as it keeps going on to other parks. But yeah, it's going to be interesting and with the sleep cycle and things. So I'm gonna have to take a trip before she gets here. That's one of my plans, one or two, but at least one in the repertoire. I've been spending a lot of time getting things ready in the house. That's why I haven't been live and the videos and been like that. But I just been playing this reality out, just so things can be smooth. Cause when you know something can happen, hey, switch it up. So we've been cleaning around the house, working as a family, and it's been bringing the family together too, because we've been having to work together in order to come and have a finished product. Oh no, she can walk. She don't have a problem walking. She's only just still in her 50s. She's still in her 50s, so she's still cool. My nana that's in her 80s is still catching the bus everywhere back in Philly. She's still catching the bus going to church. Is not waiting for her son to give her a ride. She like, man, I gotta go. I love the energy. I love the energy. It's gonna be interesting to see the conversations that pop up over time. Over time, that's gonna pop up over time while she here, cause I want to see what pops up in my mind. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying though too. I wanted to at least take 1, 2 trips before she got here. Before she got here. Cause when she here, she gonna be like through an old 3 hour loop. Cause she going this 3 hour 3 hours in the future over in Philadelphia. Old people can walk many times. Yeah, you just gotta start now, man. Like not yeah, literally gotta start now. Cause I'm seeing the difference in people, old people that can't walk and the people that can walk, and it's all about the energy, all about that energy, man. I think that's why people on crack can run. I mean, can take it. I don't know. I had some joke prepared, just went past me. I was like, crack. I'm just thinking about energy out of nowhere, but that energy always there. Hey, that's the life. That's the life. And I've been research. I don't know. I don't know what I can. I'm just chilling. I'm blowing all my thoughts away. And that's what I think makes the difference with weed and stuff and cannabis is marijuana and stuff is so awesome. But I think it's not even good or bad. But I just find myself always having something to go back to. I have myself finding always something to go back to. Like I can either go something else or I sound like I'm in a movie and I'm smoking high, saying something that don't make sense. Oh, I'm sorry, guy. I'm talking to myself. Um, she ever journeyed? Yeah, I can tie on that. She journeyed when she was younger, but and it was mixed with a lot of other things too. Probably not at the same time, but she said when I brought up, I was I was doing acid all the time, and I was really in my hippie phase where I thought I can talk to anybody about it. I was talking to my mom about it. I mentioned it to my grandmom, or because it just felt like it was the thing. I didn't know why not. But she told me a story that she did acid when she was in the when she was younger, and that she heard stories of people doing it. But she said all she her experience entailed her running through the. I mean, sitting in the house. Sitting in the house, she was out at a party or something, and then she just went in the house and she said the lights and everything was turning and round. She just summed it up in 4 or 5 sentences, and I just extrapolated the rest. So I think she said she did it once or twice. Once. She did it once. She did it once. And that was about it. That was about it. So I think that's what like opened her mind up to a lot of the experiences and the mindset that she has today because she just had that one time experience. Even if it was kind of buried, if it was buried under a lot of religious things, she's a very religious person, but she's kind of a very open religious person at the same time. Like she was still like she's a person in my life that would say, "Yeah, I believe in aliens," but then she would say because God created everything, and so her mind was always open to aliens, but it was still always under the concept of religion. But I think it probably has something to do about those that psychoactive experience, and she was real into Earth, Wind, and Fire and all of them things. And I've been Earth, Wind, and Fire and Roy something else. I forget his name. Been popping up in my suggestions in YouTube, and their music is real. Is from Sirius. They music is from the stars, man. And then my grandparents was jamming to that at the time. They was into something, even if they was being led by a star child or by a star man, and they wasn't really there for themselves. They was getting doses. They was getting them doses through their music. That's why now I say they look at music now and be like, man, what is this? But still, they can connect to it. They just need to get hip. I'm just playing with them. I'm playing with them, but they music back then used to talk about traveling through the stars and like the funk and stuff like that. Like the funk was a real thing. Like I used to think it was just a term like hip or something, but something. fascinating about it. It's this song called Third Eye. This other song where this guy was describing how he was the girl's mind, but he wasn't really talking about him. He was talking about somebody else. I mean, he was talking about something bigger. And he was talking about the delusions placed. Like, it was all there. And the way that they was singing it, I love that they were singing because it was showing like they was breaking from their mold that they was brought up in or that they was in, because it was male singing. It was male singing these songs, playing the instruments like rock music and things like that. But this was the funk. This was the funk. And this when they had the hair, they had like how you see I got strings and different colored things going through my hair. They had all of those going on. And they was just breaking whatever mold in order to bring about this star being, this star character. And then that this was their best way of, I see, bringing back their trip. Bringing back their trip. Like this, I see is the funnest, is the way one of the funnest ways right now I see for me to bring back trips to talk about and stuff. But imagine just not having to describe anything. You could just describe things through through song, and the your pitches and stuff all is creating environments, and the electric guitar or acoustic guitar and messing with the frequencies that they sending out, current remixing your things live based off of feelings and stuff, jam bands or improvising solos. Like when it get to the solo, I always say, man, it's a reason why you feel like you being taken aboard a spaceship. Like when it get to the solo that's in the song. Like that's that guitarist trip right there. And that's why the best, I was thinking of rock like Sinister Gates or an Avenged Sevenfold or Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton. You know, good guitarists. The energy was real popping. And when they get to that solo, they just like that's them. Like man, my words is gone. All my feeling is just in the guitar. Like that's the thing. That's energy being converted. That high energy, man. And it's still here, man. Shout outs to Thundercat. If you know about Thundercat, you will check out Thundercat or Flying Lotus. Thundercat and Flying Lotus, they have a lot of cool music. And let me do this too. If anybody's in the chat as well, and y'all want to come in and chat, I'm posting a link to the Discord as soon as it pops up for me, and you can come and talk, or you can continue typing, or start typing. But this is a conversation. Any topic can go any which way. There it goes. Yeah, using more tools to get more vibrations out to recreate the experience. That's what we doing today. Like, got more tools to get more vibrations out. Like, as time, I was just thinking of me studying electric guitar, how they came out with more pedals to use and things like that to manipulate the sound before it comes out the amplifier. It goes through like 12 different pedals and they hitting the switches. And even now, like virtual reality. Virtual reality, most of the environments people going to be creating, or at least the ones that I want to participate in, is going to be from is going to be from doing it's going to be from their trip experiences and their dreams, their dreamscapes, all the same thing. I just think that the psychedelics just bring about the dream state more consciously. Like it brings your awareness that was here over there. Mm. So you feel like this little character just went to another game. Well, it really don't exist. But yeah, going. I think all of these are tools. This whole experience is a tool to replicate the experience. I think everything. I think that's why a lot of us that are paying more attention to the way that I walk, that I talk, all of that stuff. Like have certain vibe about you, certain swag. You know how those terms, certain all of those things going on. Cause all those is tools of bringing about your experience. Your experience. How do you walk? How do you talk? Like literally, how do you walk and how do you talk? And my girl would say I talk like my family, and we all talk real slow and break down and get real precise about our words. And when I talk, and not even just precise about our words, but just we just talk real slow, as if we breaking apart something. Hey, what's going on, Hal? Hey, Hal, nice to see you. Nice to know you there. So when I hear that come about, I'm like, all right, this is something in my programming that's allowing me to be aware of my experience. So let me just change up real fast and talk like this. And now this is reminding me of Icky 4HO. Shouts to Icky 4HO. He has a YouTube channel where he does DMT live one time, couple times, and he does a lot of live shows, but he cut them off because he be having music. It's cool. He be tripping and just go live, play music. Yeah, that's your rhythm in the universal song. Yeah, that's the whole rhythm, man. And I just like to play. I'm seeing now that I like to switch up and play different instruments. I like to play different instruments. And I do that in my life too. It all plays out in that correlation for that correlation that as I'm doing something here, I'm actually doing something here and there and there, but it's in different ways. It's in all different ways. And I'm seeing like the character me likes to try to play a lot of different things. And I can tie on something a little personal. I remember when I was saying about oracles and how you can go somebody for a truth and they don't always so-called just always have the truth, but in that circumstance where y'all both was had a heart for the truth that y'all was hearting for manifested itself. And know that I am saying that my words precise. The truth that you are hearting for start pops up. So I was tying on. Oh yeah, yeah, the dreams. My how I like to try to dip and daddle in a lot of things, but how because of the technology that I have right now, it makes my production a little slower. So I'm producing a little slower than I would really want to. So I remember mentioning to True Life in the stream how I have dreams about being in school. Yeah, I'm on so many levels. And I had dreams about being in schools a lot. I'm always in a school. Always in a school. So when I was in Goodwill, I was looking through the books. And, in Goodwill, they have randomized books. I just like to play with randomness. Like, I don't like them to say that something makes sense if I correlated it and planned it. Like, if it was randomness and I found it in the chaos, I'm like, oh, a clue, a clue, a clue, a clue. So I found this book, and it was a book on dreams. And I was searching through it, and I said, schools. I wanted to look up, like, I had the vision flash for me of me mentioning to True Stream fam about being in school. So I said, what they got to say about schools? And they said a couple things, and all of it was sticking out. And I was guessing, this is my hypothesis, because it was the truth that I was searching for with my heart at that moment. And it was saying how they try to, it was one of the cautions, so to speak, was saying how you're trying to do master a whole lot of things and to try to specialize in certain things at a time. And I was like, oh, all right. I'll take that with a grain of salt, but I see it. I like know what you mean. And also, it was saying that it was setting up certain circumstances that I can't remember. I just remember the feeling of reading it. And it was saying that also the kind of opposite, that I'm mastering something and that it was time to teach something instead of like going. I don't remember what it was saying. I just remember it was saying that try to teach something. And that was the I was like teach. And I put my own spin on teach because I'm like, I ain't no teacher. I'm never going to like say, man, I know this and da, 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 da. But I'll just say that because even in my homeschool and with my daughter, they're known as instructors. They're not known as teachers. Like that's why I love this program. They're known as instructors. So I'm like, yeah, it's like trying to. I know that I'm developing something, and that's how I feel when I'm here. I feel like I'm in the school, and over there, I feel like I'm in a magical type school. Like, in the like things is getting more developed because now it's not a lot of bad things happening when I'm in the school. Like it will always be interrupted by some kind of event. But now it's actually playing out. Like in one of the events, it was people like with powers just casually going just casually had their hands around and stuff. I casually had their hands around. Casually had stuff like glows around their hands. And they were just like, ha ha, look, ha 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 ha. Ha. Like it was a little natural. Man, that's saying student now maybe. Yeah, that's why I like the maybe because even if I'm not a student, I'm always a student. But just what that scenario was setting up for me because I see how I have to play both sides and I see how I'm getting that inspiration from other people as well that just get lost in one side. I'm like, "Oh, wow, yeah, I do need to play that side a little more." And what is that side is having a little more self-confidence. Little more self-confidence in my flow. In my flow. Because in my knowing, I will always be a student, but in my flow, I'm always already there. And you're already there as well. I think that's why during these psychedelic experiences, we feel so much at peace. Or at times when you reach that point. Because I know some people, I'm not going to promote that, it just make everything fine and dandy. It's still the rumbles and the tumbles and things like that. But you feel more whole at yourself when having the psychedelic experience because things is like shown like you're shown your a truest potential, like a giant leap that you can make for yourself or that you existing in already, but in this dimension that you're in, you're not there because of this set of choices. So now make this set of choices. You can start that reality can start one 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 start coming in, start coming into picture, start coming into picture, into frame, into frame. Back in the day, they would have said picture, but now that we have frames and stuff like that, we can say frames. Because when I talk, because a lot growing up, I think, and it was just a whole overarching feeling too. Because when the mushrooms, they don't. When people say that the mushroom don't leave you, or you can get it so they don't leave you, and they still like a one trip or not one trip, but trips can change you forever and things like that. And my view now is like I see everything is trying to help me, even if it's hurting me. If it's hurting me, it's trying to help me, and if it's helping me, it's it's helping me for the time being. It's not something to help me forever. It's not something that's forever. Because as soon as I think that it's forever, it's like, man, what? It's just, man, what? That's all it is. Man, what? Come on, come on, come on. But, dun 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 dun. Oh, what I meant, I was about to sing another one. Bites dust. When you play that song backwards, supposedly it says, "Yeah, I love to smoke marijuana." If I only heard it play backwards on YouTube, not the actual vinyl record. But I guess I'm playing messages backwards to myself. But Yeah, those channels is always opened up if you want them to. If you want them to, and I think it puts you on a whole nother playing field of growing. Cause now you in the arena. You're not just a bystander watching TV, living through other people's lives, but now your lives have all the emotions that go up and down, and you being out of your emotions and getting some Twilight Zone going on. Like no longer living a sitcom kind of life, but now living a Twilight Zone kind of life, living a Star Trek Enterprise kind of life, or Battlestar Galactica. I know a lot of people watch that, or Stargate, or just something that has you traveling a lot. Spider-Man, Marvel type kind of life, where things are not always making sense. Other people popping up with similarities, and you seeming still like an individual, and then finding out there's more of yous and other universes. You start living the life on that kind of scale, and the questions and the experiences, like the way that your mind shapes after that, like your mind after that. Bang! Bang! A perfect segue. I'm reading Red Dwarf. I'm gonna check it out. All right, I'm writing it down this time. Red Dwarf. This House of X. I'm reading House of X. This issue number 2. I read it yesterday on my way to go kayaking in the ride. And the second one is about Maria. It's about the story of Maria. And oh, it was wild. I gotta put the L down so I don't forget. Because and I got sweaty hands. I do not like touching these with sweaty hands. But the story of Maria, oh, dang, what was my perfect segue? Not so perfect after all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking through the book to see if a point pops up. But in the House of X, I forgot how I was gonna tie it into what I was just talking about forever. I gotta wipe my sweat off the back cover. But Maria, she's a mutant that's able to come back to reality, or the loop that she's in the reality, with memories. She's able to come back in her reincarnations with with her past life memories. And they play out her past life memories. And the fact that she can remember them each time she comes back with the feeling of changing up and doing something differently. And one time she found out she was a mutant, and then she went to those. And in the X-Men universe, Maria, I don't know why I travel the universes. Oh man, I really wish I could remember that segue. But yeah, Maria, she remembers her past lives, so she's able to make different decisions, and she changes her whole lot. Yeah, that's what it was. Her life was radicalized based off of certain experiences during her past lives. That's what it was. And that's what I was tying on before, was saying how some experiences can radicalize you, because yeah, when you go out into the world, into those big experiences, and you playing out this game on the higher levels, and you playing on the level of the wizards, and leveling up in Hogwarts, like you were in Hogwarts and stuff like that. And then you see how they still got their hierarchy and things going on. A teacher, but there's still another teacher above that, and a group of the Senate or something like that. But she yeah, all these bombarding thoughts. Yeah, when you start playing on that level, you start playing on a level where you have these experiences that radicalize you. And that's the word they kept using in her reincarnations when the humans did something that she thought that she was preventing. Like she always, and she met with Professor X at different times, and one time she just saw him as an arrogant prick that just wanted to make mutants superior, and she's like, I don't know about these powers that I have. But then when she saw how humans treated mutants and stuff, she died. So then she came back with the memories, and she wanted to go and help Professor X, and then it just kept playing out and things in different ways where she made different decisions. And then now we're continuing the House of X of a certain timeline now based off of certain decisions she made. And she made dramatic different decisions. And she told Professor X these decisions, and it was cool because he was able to read her mind and get the inspiration because she saw it on what he wanted to do in that reality based off of the decisions he made in the other realities where she was experiencing him. And I'm like, yo, we do this. I know I do this when I'm listening to people's stories, and I'm like, and it's not me, but I know it's kind of me. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's what happened. If we're not gonna do that, we're not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And it's on a whole nother sense, on a whole nother level. And you well said, yeah, you ever had deja vu? Did you recall the next few minutes? Yeah, deja vu on mushrooms, deja vu without mushrooms. It was an experience 3 days ago where theoretically, hypothetically, allegedly, I was at um I was at a friend's house, and man, I was holding I was holding a mushroom thing, like when the mushroom grows out of the dirt, and it was mushrooms. It wasn't even it was just mushrooms outside, and I was holding the mycelium, and I was like, I held this before. I was like, I did this before. I did this before. I held this mycelium before. And I was like, wow. I was just observing the moment. And Deja Vu even followed Thanos. I still didn't see Endgame. But I do know a lot about the Marvel universe and stuff. To know that another Thanos from another universe or something comes about without the memories of what he did or something like that. But still got that same energy about him. But yeah, that's my recent Deja Vu moment. And mostly, if I wrote down more of my deja vu moments, I would have a lot more stories to say. That's why I'm gonna start carrying a notepad. I think that's why that vision of Eminem just popped in my head. It was an interview when he used to write a lot. Like when he first came out, he used to say he used to just scribble on everything because he had these thoughts coming to him. He said, "Man, I have to scribble on the table or scribble on my hand. Like I just get these out, and that like be the lyrics to his song." I remember that inspired me to write down, and I guess it's inspiring me right now again. Cause it's real, it's funny too, and I love that I look at it as the cosmic joke too, cause I can't get much out of it. Then oh yeah, I did this before. Like that's about as much as I can get out of it. Well, not really, cause then once I see that I did it before, next minutes proceed too. Like I don't know, even if I feel like I can make a change in that moment, it's just like I'm observing it. It's not even that I can make the change. It's like the change is already made. I just read Mari as a person. Am I getting that wrong? Is Mari the green alien girl? His daughter? Oh, yeah, you just wrote it. I didn't read the next sentence. A thought just popped in my head, and I looked back at it, And I looked, I was like, wait, Mari's a person. I didn't know what Mari was when you wrote it. Mari followed, she thought siding with him would work. Yeah, and you can adjust change then. Yeah, yep. She thought it would work. Yeah, that, all right, my thoughts jumping up. I'm getting a whole bunch of pictures, but, that is where the change happens. That is where the change happens. Cause it's like if it's an observant where it can go, but it's a point where you gotta be there. You gotta be higher there, higher there in order to act the change. Or I don't know. It's just like imagine like during a trip, you see something going past you, and you just it's just like you just observing. It's like or a big ship is going by you've never seen before, or a flying boat is going past you. You never seen that before, and it's just floating past you. Just you didn't even think that you can walk away or run away. It was no thought. But if you did had a thought, you could have changed something. But it's just like that's how deja vu can be and can be changed as well. But the awareness factor is like something that can't just be made up, and that's why I like dealing with the practices and things that I'm developing alongside alongside the family. And you can adjust time. The lady in House of X. Yeah, it was a lady. It was a lady that said that because then Maria was saying that she wanted to create a cure. No, it's all right. Um, Marie was saying that she wanted to create a cure for mutants because she said, "Man, this is the disease that we have. Because look how the humans are treating us, and all the realities that she was coming back, that she kept on. Wait, what just happened? Hopefully, it's still going. From all the realities, from all the realities that she was going to, she was seeing how humans was treating the mutants, and then she was saying, well, maybe we are the problem, maybe us mutants are the problem, and if people don't want to be a mutant, they should be able to decide that they don't want to be a mutant. So she was creating this cure, working alongside the government and stuff. So then this lady just pops up from out of time and space and destroys everything that she was working on, and tells her that wherever you go in time, I'm always going to be there. Oh, I clicked something. That's what happened. She said that I'm always going to be there. And she said I could see all the infinite time. I could see all the possible time time forks from here, and all the ones that manifest with you doing what you're doing now, I already can see. And if you choose to do that, I'm gonna be there to kill you. And the ones, it was something trippy. She said I could just go back to it. I got the book right here. Oh, it must have happened early in the book. There we go. Hold on. I'm gonna read it to you, to y'all. Dang, the whole thing went away. I can't see the chat. That's why I stopped. All right, there it goes. Here go the pictures. If y'all want to see the pictures and the artwork, this that lady I'm talking about right there. But she said, listen to me, my child. My mutant name is Destiny, and I have the power to see the future, which is tricky with someone like you since your mutant power is reincarnation. But here I am, see me, child. Wait. One might think that would be impossible. Seeing the future of someone with potentiality has a limitless, unended one. But here I am, my child. See me. You killed all my friends, everyone. So if you're gonna kill me, get it over with. Oh, we're gonna do that much more. Blah 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 blah. And they talking about don't create that cure because the humans gonna use it. Oh, this the story I was trying to say. Just so it don't sound like I'm just rambling all the time. It says she said, "I am much older than you are. My powers have manifested, full of knowledge of what we have done. And if once again try to do this evil work against our people, like today, I will see the potential outcome of it and find you again. And if you try to kill me before I kill you, I will see my present end coming and prevent it. You see, Maria, we were joined together now, you and I. You will know that I am out there waiting for this version of you, and you knowing that, have a choice, change or die. Help your people, or I will annihilate you and all your lives to come." And then it gets back into the drama. It's something to read from. Reading from the holy book. The holy book of House of X, book chapter 2. My computer froze and I can no longer see anybody writing. Hold on 1 second. Alright. I had to grab the tablet because I couldn't see any chat. So if y'all still there, thank y'all for still listening, for even tuning in today. Thank y'all for being here, listening to the ramblings, the tie-in of a, you know, da, 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 da. Here we go. Okay. All love. Alright, I see it now. Here we go. Okay. Alright. Yo, I just had the most random thought. Before I may go soon. But the last thought I got right now is I want to create something where I want to create something where something confuses your senses. Like with your sense of sound and stuff like that. I don't know, did like a VR type thing. That would be pretty cool. And like when you talk, it loops your thoughts back. It loops your whatever you said back to you, as well as your environment. Like that would be. I gotta tie on that some more. So like even thought sounds that it's picking up from like around you and stuff, it loops it back at a different time. And then it loops back the sound that it got from your voice, and just start messing with you. I think I should make something like that. Like how they got beer goggles. I might make something for to mess with the ears. And even in VR, what if you got some good HoloLens glasses, those good got Google HoloLens, like replay a picture back in your sight that you just seen in a different way. I'm just creating a trip experience with technology. That's all I'm doing. But yeah, bros, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna actually head to the park, do some work with the daughter, and then I'm gonna get to the park. Cause after going kayaking yesterday, it had me inspired. I was like, yo, man, I can't do more than 2 days and not be at the park. I don't know what I was doing. But thank you guys. Thank you, well. Thank you, Ali Cat, for coming by, and How. Thank y'all for joining for creating the conversation and the atmosphere. And always know it's time to duel if you ever want to duel. But we all tie. But do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Adios, folks, and hey, have some fun. Have some fun.